So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another midweek interview with me, Carl Maloney, that guy from RGM. How you doing? You all right, guys? If you're watching here on YouTube, you can catch this interview on the podcast platform as well that I don't really tell you about, but I should do, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, each midweek, I want to introduce you to new artists that we come across on RGM. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Robbie Z. Hi, mate.
Hi. So nice to meet you.
I know we spoke on email and stuff, haven't we, and all that kind of stuff. And we were just saying before, it is a bit different, and it's speaking to people in real life, even though it's not, it's Zoom. But heyo,
Yeah, but I feel like with COVID, we're kind of used to like seeing people
yeah,
online. So I think it's fine as long as it's not like emails and stuff. It's so much more like kind of like that human interaction if
yeah.
it's just like on video or in real life.
It's just so convenient in it having these video chats.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't be able to get as many. I don't think I'd be able to do a podcast every week. And definitely not do two a week if I didn't have the option to Zoom because you've got to get to people and they've got to get to you otherwise. And you know that people are busy, aren't they, these days?
yeah. It's so like futuristic when you think about it because we're so used to it, but it's like because it doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's just like gradually like getting bigger and like better, but it's so like futuristic and like it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to introduce people to Robbie Z, Robbie, mate. So I know we were just having a little chat earlier. You live in London, but you're not from London original. So if people aren't aware of who you are, mate, give us a quick overview of who Robbie Z is for us.
All right. Yeah, my artist name is Robbie Z. I'm from Bulgaria originally, but I live in London now. I've lived here for a year now. I moved here for university. I make music, that kind of like I like to be multi genre, I guess. I like rap and pop and like pop rock and punk. Like I mix a lot of genres as well. I've been making music since I was like 15. And yeah, that's I guess that's it.
Here at RGM, we do get a bit of criticism sometimes of just having those indie boys on with leather jackets sometimes and being a bit too much like that. So we are trying to cover as many different genres as we can. And that's another kind of reason why, one, your music, because I heard the preview to your new single that sounds ace that we'll talk about coming up. But another one, different people in pockets of the world, you're in London, I'm up north, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm trying to branch out what we do at RGM and discover more genres and that kind of stuff. So how do you feel about that? Like magazines that just have bands with leather jackets on. How do you feel about those type of people?
I think that's really cool, honestly. I was talking to my producer about that yesterday because we had like a session at the studio and we were just talking about like how the different genres have their own like specifics. Either it's like morals or just like um hairstyles or like outfits, leather jackets, whatever it may be. I think it's really cool because like I love themes and if it's someone's like personality to like wear jackets and have like spiky hair or whatever it may be, I think it's really cool. I'm like, it's so like satisfying seeing the different options you have as an artist. And I like mixing that. I'm like, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to go about it. So, do you mind just asking your real name?
Yeah, my name is Robert. I don't ever really like introduce myself as Robert. It's so like serious and I'm like really like colorful and like I like being
Okay.
like crazy and ridiculous. So yeah, I'm not owning it yet. I feel like I gotta get a little older to kind of appreciate my real name.
Okay, fair enough. When you get done off your parents, do they call you Robert?
Huh? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
When you get into trouble off your parents, do they call you Robert?
Yeah, they still call me Robert and it's like super like serious. And I feel like this person who does like music videos and I'm just like a baby in the video. Like I still like I don't feel like that businessman, like 30-year-old, 40-year, like, you know. So yeah, I'm kind of like, please call me Robbie. And then my mom is like, but I named you Robert. I'm gonna call you Robert.
Well, no, and what's the Z stand for then as well?
Z is for my last name. It's Zlatkov, really
Right.
Bulgarian.
Yeah. So
It's pretty boring. My stage name is pretty boring if I have to be honest.
that's all right. Fair enough. I just wanted to see if there was anything more in there. But so from Bulgaria then. So what was Bulgaria like growing up and being into music?
Honestly, there like we have our own genres there that are kind of really different than what's like popular outside of Bulgaria. And people there like listen to a lot of, when we're talking about international music, a lot of hip hop, I guess, and like pop, just like radio music or like house music. Um, but I've always like been a fan of like kind of artists who are like the underdog in their genre. And I've never really like connected to the music that was played there, I guess. But it was like I've always been a fan of like even like Disney Channel artists when I was younger. And later on I became like a huge fan of Iggy Azalea, which like it's there's like a big discussion if she's like a rapper or like a pop artist. And people there like know her pop songs, like they're still played on the radio everywhere. And yeah, I think just growing up,
What do you think she is?
I think she's a rapper, honestly. She considers herself a rapper. I don't like these labels. I'm not, I hate
Okay.
labels like that because it's like, why do you need a label? Like, you can be versatile. I think that's like, that's how I want to be at least. And I think she's a rapper, but she likes to mix genres as well. That's where I got that, I feel like.
So if a band were to set up in Bulgaria, what kind of like what's like your native type music type thing in Bulgaria? I'm fascinated with this kind of stuff.
There
Like
isn't
if
like
there was a
bands
standard
there.
if there was a standard setup for a band, what would they look and sound like from Bulgaria?
Honestly, there isn't many bands there, but if I were to like imagine a band, it's like a girl group, kind of like Fifth Harmony, little mix type thing with like pop music, pop house, something like that. But I guess there is like this popular folk music there, which
Okay.
is like it's it has its specifics with like the way the singers look, the way they sound, the things they talk about. Like it's super specific. So I guess most like people there like that genre and those artists. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And what made you move away from Bulgaria over to sunny London?
Yeah. Well, I feel like for me, like I've always wanted to like study music business and like stuff like that. And there isn't really an option for that in Bulgaria. And I've always like wanted to like, because I see it as okay, so we live on like the earth and we're like born somewhere. And then I've lived there for like 20 years. And I was like, why not like move somewhere else? Just experience more, learn about people's cultures and like meet people from everywhere and just kind of like build a community of like people who like the same things as me and just like build a career more internationally, because I feel like the Bulgarian market is pretty good for like art, for like people who are in Bulgaria. So if you're an artist in Bulgaria, you can be really popular in Bulgaria but not really outside of it. And I kind of want to like, I want to see it, how big it can get, you know. I feel like the UK is like the perfect place for me for that right
What,
now.
what is it about the UK that makes it so perfect for that?
I feel like in Europe, it's like one of the, if not like, I think it's the biggest market for music in Europe. And especially like the type of music I want to make. Because, yeah, right now, I don't imagine myself making music in Bulgarian or in Bulgaria, really. Not right now, at least. And yeah, I feel like after the US, I feel like that's the biggest market for music. That's how I see it, I think.
Specifically, why the UK though? I'm just interested in why
Yeah.
why you picked our little island. That's all.
I really liked my university, honestly. I think that's like something I really like. My friend from Bulgaria, she was studying here in that same university. And she told me about it and I read about it online and I just thought like I was like, whoa, that looks really cool. Like I want to study there. And then I was like, because when I was 11, I had like a dream. I feel like I manifested it. I wanted to like live in the UK, but it was like for all of the wrong reasons. I just wanted to see the red buses and like the
Okay.
UK flag. And I was 11, you know. But then when I saw the university and how cool it looked and like how much people loved it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I gotta study there.
So,
Yeah,
so you're studying. So, what is music business then? What? Talk us through that.
that's super interesting. Like, I just finished my first year a few months ago. We're starting the second year in a week. I'm super excited about that. Um, so like there is like four modules in each term, and it's just like different levels, like learning a lot about the industry, about like how to build a business and how to just like the different things. It's nerdy stuff about music, about the music business, and it's so like fascinating learning about like how someone became popular and what they did and like marketing strategies and stuff like that. That's like super interesting to me.
That's what we love talking about on the podcast. You know, if
Yeah.
is there anything you learn? I appreciate you're only just about to start your second year, but is there anything that you learned in the first year that you thought, oh, nice one? I'm going to take that to the grave. I'm going to hammer that tip.
There is a lot of that, honestly. Like, and I'm super indecisive, so I don't know what
Okay.
exactly I would say, but there's a lot that I've learned. Let's say, like, honestly, all of this stuff about like royalties and like the boring things, because I don't think if I went to that university, I would like ever learn elsewhere because I would be like, yeah, like I don't want to learn about it. And then when it gets bigger, you kind of have to learn about it, but it's so hectic, I feel like. So it's good to know it when you're like starting out or when it's early on in your career. And
But
you
is
know,
it like the stages of publishing and that kind of stuff? And
yeah, publishing, royalty.
what share record companies make, what you do with your publishing and live stuff and the percentages and all that kind of stuff. Is that
Yeah, yeah. Just like the boring part of it all, like the masters and like it's interesting. It's just one of those like I'm not good with numbers and stuff. I was never good in maths in school. So yeah, it's not my thing. But now that I know it, it's like, oh, I know it. It's good that I know it, you know? I can build on that and just know if someone's lying to me.
what I'm interested to do with that you said, if you'll know if somebody's lying to you about it, because the music industry, there's some liars out there, there's some bullshitters that we need to, that we need to work through and work a way around. And what kind of signs would you see from somebody that you thought is lying to you? What kind of signs would they be giving out?
Oh my God, where do I begin with the red flags in the music
Uh,
industry?
yeah.
See a lot of people DMing me like, "Hey, do you want to be famous?" Like,
Yeah.
and then like they have like 100,000 followers and like 20 likes, for example. So like they buy followers. That's a really bad sign. Not because like, oh, you gotta have a lot of followers. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that why buy fake followers? You know, I really don't support that. And that's like one thing. Or if people just like want to work with you but don't like make the effort to like learn about you, you know? That's like a really big red flag, I would say, because
You do get a lot of DMs. I get a lot because I keep advertising this YouTube channel that I'm doing, but and I keep getting people like sending me DMs, like screenshotting the SEO on my YouTube channel and that kind of stuff,
yeah,
and wanting to charge me like $100 to create this millions of followers on YouTube, and it's all bollocks, isn't it?
yeah. It's crazy. It's so annoying. I like anytime I post like a picture because I use a lot of hashtags because I want to like get out there, obviously, as an artist. And anytime like I have a post, like I get like 20 DMs or like one of these like super annoying comments that are like, DM this brand if you want to be the face of it, if you want to be an affiliated something influencer or whatever. It's like I feel like all of it is super fake, and I've tried to like filter them out or like just block them all the time because it's super annoying. There's some of them that like keep on messaging you. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it is. Numbers are important, unfortunately, and I can see why. I can see why bands do the not necessarily paying money for followers, but doing the follow loads of people and hope they'll follow you and then unfollow them and keep doing that until you build up a few followers. That's quite a common thing that people aren't buying followers; they are following people that'll follow them back, and if they don't, they'll unfollow them and then follow another group of people that are into music and that kind of stuff. That is common, and I have to be honest, I did that at the beginning with RGM. I don't do it anymore. I ain't got time
Same.
to.
Like years ago, I did it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is problem, but I understand why people do it, because the music industry wants to know you've got numbers before they'll even like look at you sometimes. So I do appreciate why some people do it, just to get a fair amount of numbers, to be noticed, to get past that first stage of the industry where sometimes it can stop just there. Well, like from a
Yeah.
label,
I've learned that like the first step is like the hardest one, then it kind of, it's just easier, more, you have more experience, so you know how to get through stuff faster and easier and more efficient. And I feel like the first step of like getting your name out there, or your brand, music, podcast, whatever it may be, I feel like is the hardest. And I've done that before as well when I was younger, and I'm not going to blame people who do it. It's just I know better now. I don't want to like follow people, because it's fake, it's not real. Like if you build a real connection with people, or if people see your worth, then it's good. But if it's just follow for follow, it's a little too like 10 years ago. It's a little fake, I feel like.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, and you can't do it these days anyway, because the social media companies limit stuff like that, and they flag you, and they close your accounts down for doing stuff like that these days, which is good, I think.
Yeah. It's good. It's just, I think we need to do a lot of work on. We need to work on kind of not basing how like special someone is off of their followers or like numbers and stuff. It's super stupid, I think. But I think the whole industry works like that. And like you basically have to be an influencer if you want to start a podcast, or if you want to make music. You just have to like make TikToks and stuff. And I enjoy that to some extent, but like you have to film and post every day. And like you don't wake up ready to film every day. I don't want to like vlog every day, but I feel like I have to.
That's a lot of pressure on somebody, isn't it? You can
Yeah.
put a pressure on yourself thinking that you've got to do that kind of stuff, and I'm not sure if you do. I'm not sure if you've got to do something every day. That just seems excessive, doesn't it? Particularly at this early stage in your career. The people that do it all day, every day, have probably got a team of people to do it for them.
That's true, but honestly, I have a little bit of a different take on that. I feel like when you're starting out, or when you're like a smaller artist, I guess, if you want to go big, I think you gotta like go all the way and like work really hard. Because for example, if you take like a really big artist, they do post TikToks, but they want to like look cool, so they're gonna post like 3 TikToks for their new single. Well, like I have to post a lot, like a lot more. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm kind of enjoying, I'm learning to enjoy kind of the journey on getting there, not like hyper fixating on like the goal. It's just like smaller steps, I feel like. And it's just not toxic for me that way, I feel like.
Fair enough. But where do you feel like you are within the industry at the minute then? Where would you put Robbie Z?
Honestly, I feel like, because I'm kind of a go big or go home type person with my career and my goals. So I feel like I'm not like if this is the where I want to be, I'm like,
and where's that? And where's that? And where is that?
I want to be, I want to go on tour. I want to like release albums. I want to, because I have so much creativity in me and so much I want to say and show, and just like visually and with music, that what I'm doing now is like fulfilling that, but not as much as I wanted to. I have like specific things that I want to do and get to, like points I want to get to, but I feel like this is the Bulgarian in me, that I don't like sharing specifically what I want to like, where I want to get to, because it's kind of like bad luck, I guess, in Bulgaria.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just a Bulgarian thing, but yeah.
So touring, albums, visual arts, that kind of stuff. And where do you feel you are in it then?
I'm making EPs right now. I'm gonna drop my new EP. It's called Gear Diary. I'm probably gonna drop it in November. So with that, I feel like I'm not there yet to have an album out. I want to like get big enough as an artist, as bad as it sounds. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. I want to get big enough before I make an album because I have a really specific idea of what I want it to sound and look like for my first album. I have the name idea. I have everything. It's just I want to like get to there, which get to where, if you're asking me that, which is basically what you were asking. I'm sorry. I'm just like off
No,
topic.
okay.
It's just I want to have like a community of people who like understand my creativity, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, so that I have like so that I know it's worth it for me to put the time in and the effort to make an album. I want to tour that album. I'm not like right now, I'm not at the point where I can just like go on a tour at like the O2 Arena or anything, you know? And I want to like get to that point before I drop an album. So I'm just making smaller projects right
But
now.
do you think it's going to be easier to build a creative community around you in London than what it would be back home?
No, not at all, actually.
Yeah.
Yes and no. In Bulgaria, as I said, like the market is like much smaller. It's a really small market and everyone knows everyone, I guess. So it's kind of you need the connections there as you do everywhere. But it's there like everyone knows everyone, so like it's easier to get big gigs or get on the radio and stuff because you just know a lot of people. I do because you know I'm from there. Well, here it's kind of like I came here and it's like, oh, you're a baby, you gotta like build new connections, new people, new friends, new you need to learn everything because it's completely different as like even getting used to it because it's super different to live here than in Bulgaria and then building a career here. It's a lot harder for me, but a lot easier as well because people are a lot more open-minded for music like mine, I guess.
Okay.
Because I don't think people in Bulgaria are that interested in Bulgarians who make music in English, which fair enough.
Mm.
I get that point, you know, but yeah.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, just like this whole music industry is always going to fascinate me. There's always people that everybody's got their own story, everybody's got their own journey, everybody's got their own way of working through this fucking industry.
Yeah.
I just love all the stories, and you know, you've come all this. So you're at the stage now where you're just looking to build up, you know, do more. You've got an EP out in November, and you've got a single out that came out the last week that we're sharing on our
Yeah.
and so talk us through this new single that you've just brought out then.
Oh my God. I want to say it's my favorite song I've ever done, but it's like up there with one more from the EP. It's called $5 and a Dream. It's basically about where I want to go and what I want to do and like the struggles on the way. And it's really autobiographical. I'm kind of like talking about a lot of the things that have happened in my life in like the past few years and like my struggles in the song. And yeah, that's what it's about. It just started as like I was sleeping a few years ago, probably like a year or two ago. And I just woke up with the idea for the melody of the chorus. And like the first time I was like, oh, $5 and a dream. And I was like, huh, I should record that. That's how I write songs sometimes. And yeah, that's how it started. That's what the song is about.
So you mentioned, is there anything like any themes from the song that you'd like to tell us about? You mentioned some struggles. Is that anything that you're comfortable telling us about?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're not.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Obviously. No, no, it's fine. I talk about it in a song. I even feel like a little uncomfortable with like people hearing it because it's so like personal. But honestly, yeah, it's just I feel like I say all of it in the song. And yeah, I've had like some problems with where I wanted to go and like study and stuff with like visas and stuff, super annoying stuff, honestly. And then I have had to kind of because like London was my second option, I guess. But I had to like change my whole mindset and everything. And that was like kind of a hard thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like I mentioned all of it in the song. Yeah.
Where was the first place then that you wanted to go to?
Yeah.
Well, I
Not right
can't walk
now.
past that one, I'm afraid. I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah.
I was going to study in the US, but it was just not the right time and it just couldn't happen. It was not meant to be then. And I'm so glad that I'm here. I love it here. Like now I see why, you know? And when I wrote that song, because I didn't write the whole thing then, but I kind of wrote it in the perspective with the perspective I had while those struggles were happening. And it was like happening simultaneously with like a lot of other things happening in my life, like changes. I graduated and I had like some struggles, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, mate, you're a 20-year-old lad coming, living in a foreign country, just
yeah.
learning all the new ways and negotiating your way through life, a new country, and the music industry. So it must take its toll sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, you get like burnt out sometimes, I guess. But I was talking to my mom about that. It's so like funny how because like everyone was like, yeah, you might like get really lonely and like you might want to come back. A lot of my friends were like, yeah, I have friends who like studied abroad and just wanted to come back home a year later. And I was like, really? Like I can't imagine myself just no hate to Bulgaria. I love Bulgaria so much, but it's just like I feel like I have to build my career first before I go there because it's so like slow paced compared to like here. And when I moved here, it was like there was no, I didn't have like a moment of like getting used to it. I just came here and I was like, okay, I live here now. Like there is some struggles with it, but it's like I got used to it really quick. It is kind of annoying going back and forth, like all of the travels and all of that, and just like switching the languages and everything. Because when I come here and like get used to just speaking in English, and then I go back home, it's a little more like, oh, I gotta like switch. And then when I come back here, it's like only Bulgarian is in my head. And so that's like the biggest struggle I've had, I think. And the weather, because it's super like gloomy here, but I've learned to love it.
Yeah, fair enough, fair comment. Have you seen in the news all about gig etiquette recently? Did you see all the stuff online on Twitter and stuff like that about um I've got a guest on the show. The name phases me. What's she called? There we go. There we go. Sorry, Lucy, I forgot your name there. Lucy May Walker put a thing out on Twitter recently about gig etiquette, and she's a soloist. And she gets a little bit frustrated when crowds make a bit of a noise and they talk through the music and that kind of stuff. And she's put together these rules for people to abide by, which it's gone down well in certain quarters and people understand it. I understand it. I just don't know how you're going to enforce that kind of stuff. I'm just wondering if you had an opinion on it.
I haven't seen that honestly. What kind of rules is it? Is it like being quiet and not screaming and
Yeah,
stuff?
I'll read them out to you. There is. Let me just get the rules up. So it's things like don't talk during the show, be in the moment. The audience have not paid to see you, which I completely get, and just have an amazing time. So, but there's more that they're just their headlines, that kind of stuff. Like,
Uh,
so it all spans from like being frustrated around, people. I put a lot of like local gigs on, and you do see it when there's particularly if someone's on first, I think, and people are just coming into the venue a little bit, and they're quite a bit shouty, and there's an acoustic person on. I can imagine it being quite frustrating for artists at that point in the evening. I'm just wondering if you had a personal thought on it. That's all.
I do. I think I do. Honestly, now that you said that, I understand it. If someone is like an opening act or like the first performer of the night, I think it's kind of disrespectful, like talking through them. I've had that happen to me before, and it's super annoying. And I feel like that's happened to me only when like the crowd was really small. I feel like when there's more people, they feel obligated to listen to you. But I guess
Well, Lucy headlines her and sells out
exactly.
her own shows as well, and they still do it even when she's headlining. So
Oh.
even when there's more and it's amplified a lot more, it's just coming from
I
a
see like two sides of it. I just
yeah.
feel like um as as just like a music lover, when I go to a show, I want to scream the lyrics. I know, like, I know that people are not paying to see me, but if I'm there and just like quiet, I don't enjoy it as much. Like, because like I only like artists that like connect with me, and like when I'm like hearing their music live, I want to like scream my lungs, you know. And I feel like as a performer, but like, you know, my music is more upbeat, so I really enjoy it when people know my lyrics and like scream it out loud. And I just, that way I know what people like and don't like in my music, and what songs they like and don't. But especially for like singer songwriter type artists, and like acoustic sets, I feel like people need to be really respectful of that, because it's
Difficult,
just
isn't
not.
it? You can't tell people what to do, really. People are just out. Some people might be dragged out by the friends to come and see somebody as well, and you are thankful for those extra sales, I suppose, as an artist coming to you as
Obviously.
well. So it's a minefield. But I've got Lucy coming up on the podcast soon, so I'm gonna have a proper chat with her about it and
Yeah.
get down to the nitty gritty of it, because I'm just open to, but it's part of what this podcast does, delving into what's going on in the grassroots music industry and meeting people like yourself and debating all these things and having a chat and shooting the shit and just having these conversations, which is my favorite thing about doing this podcast, I think.
Yeah, I think that's really cool because you see a lot of different perspectives, and
Yeah.
you can kind of like get into artists' mindset and just like understand it better. I think that's a really interesting thing. I would do a podcast. I think it's a super interesting thing. I think a few months ago I started like making one, but it was just not the right time. I didn't have enough time to do it. But I think one day I would like definitely make a podcast.
Well, if you ever want us on the show, mate, we're more than happy to help anybody out and get involved. And we'll definitely be supporting you on RGM with your music and that kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, in the description of this podcast, if you're listening to it on Spotify, Apple, watching us on YouTube, wherever you are, beautiful people, click in the link within the description. There's a link straight to Robbie's socials and get to know him a little bit. Click on his music, get involved, check out a gig, do all the normal type of things that humans do. And Robbie, I've really enjoyed getting to know you today, mate. Is there anything you want
Yeah.
to? Is there a message you want to leave for the people that are still to press the button to go and visit you on your socials? Have you got a message for those people?
Yeah, if you wanna like, I'm so bad at that. If you want to listen to my new song, it's called $5 in a Dream. It's super personal to me, and I think it sounds interesting. It's just something I would love to hear on the radio. So I guess you can like give me your opinion on it. I'm open to constructive criticism, as well as if you live in London or in the UK, in England, really. I have a show coming up on the 14th of October in Meter Squared in South Kensington, I think. And if you want to, you can go on my link tree in my bio on Instagram and get a ticket. I would love to see you there and chat and just like talk about what music you like, and just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so excited because I'm gonna play my new EP there. It's called Dear Diary. So yeah, it's personal and I'm excited about it.
Nice one, mate. Well, thanks for joining us today on the podcast. And we'll stay in touch, and we wish you all the best with your gigs and everything else, mate. Nice one.
Wish you the best too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.